Welcome to our discussion on small business storage and IP video surveillance trends. I'm Steve Hilton, Vice President of Small Business at Yankee Group, a leading market research firm. In this segment, we're going to talk about some of the key storage and surveillance concerns of small businesses, learn why storage and surveillance issues are important to small businesses, and describe the things to look for in vendors' solutions. Let's get started. There are 4 overarching small business needs. Whether you're a startup small business or a business having deep, rich business processes, these business needs should sound familiar. They are: help me grow my business, protect my business, simplify my business, and support my business. Today's discussion will focus on how to protect your business. Businesses seek protection in all sorts of ways. They buy business insurance, auto insurance, install surveillance equipment, and security doors. In all cases, businesses are trying to protect themselves from risks. So what is surveillance? Surveillance is the monitoring of people, facilities, and assets, coupled with strong analytic tools to efficiently and cost-effectively protect your business. Surveillance has really evolved greatly over the last 10 years. It is entering its 3rd stage of development, and it's the emergence of smarter IP networks that has enabled much of this change. The first stage of surveillance was people-centric, monitoring people's access to facilities and assets. We used surveillance to deter unauthorized access to places or things, or to identify and ultimately punish those who gained access to something or someplace that should have been closed to them. As the network and connectivity became more sophisticated, organizations started thinking about how monitoring could replace some of the time-consuming manual tasks that people do. This gave rise to the asset-centric phase of surveillance. That is, the monitoring of inanimate objects to ensure they are operating within acceptable bounds. Monitoring the temperature of rooms, such as data centers or IT closets, for example, or monitoring assets for compliance and regulatory purposes. However, like the people-centric stage of surveillance, this stage required a person to physically monitor systems to notice abnormalities. And finally, we just crossed into the intelligence-centric phase of surveillance. Using smart IP networks, surveillance analytic tools allow more effective and efficient monitoring of events that fall outside the bounds of acceptable norms. In essence, we can remove the need for constant human monitoring and use network tools to alert people of abnormal events. Sometimes we can even take corrective action without human interaction. For example, monitoring retail traffic at registers and sending automated alerts to store managers to open more registers. There are 6 market drivers for the progress we've seen in surveillance and storage. We've mentioned a converged IP network as critical to improvements in technology. High-speed broadband networks have become nearly ubiquitous as bandwidth has become relatively inexpensive compared to 10 years ago. Wireless LANs for networking have enabled the proliferation of cameras and other monitoring devices where fixed connectivity wasn't available. Power over Ethernet also enabled flexibility in deployment configurations. More simple, easy-to-use surveillance applications have helped drive solutions to smaller-sized businesses. No longer does a small business have to outsource all its surveillance and storage requirements. Lastly, compression technology, while a foreign language to many small businesses, has improved, which allows lower bandwidth and smaller storage requirements. Many of the drivers we just discussed did more than simply allow more advanced surveillance capabilities. They significantly drove down costs for storage, another important aspect of the solution. Storage of surveillance, video, and data is critical in providing physical security for a small business. But storage of video and data can also help a small business meet necessary regulatory and compliance requirements. Improvements in compression technologies, the ones I mentioned just a minute ago, have also reduced storage requirements, thereby lowering storage costs. Good surveillance solutions have pre-integrations with storage solutions. These integrations should have a robust set of applications to allow things like simple backup feeds, easy event reviews, and messaging in case of an alarm trigger. So, when addressing security and surveillance and storage concerns, what should a small business do? The short answer is planning. Surveillance and storage are not solutions that should be thought of as standalone applications. First, incorporate surveillance and storage as your organization creates a roadmap for networking. A little forethought will go a long way in putting together a robust physical security plan. Second, leverage IP convergence. Surveillance with good storage can be something a small business does itself. It needn't be something you outsource to a specialty company. And three, seek vendor financing when needed to alleviate the capital crunch that most small businesses live with. Ask your trusted technology advisor for some options. Thanks for joining our discussion on small business surveillance and storage trends. I'm Steve Hilton with Yankee Group.